Hi there. What I'm going to talk to you about today, we call the protective shield. And it demonstrates how the interactions parents have with their children create a secure attachment. And I already know all the great things that you do with your child. So I can imagine when your child wakes up crying, you lean over to them, you say, you're going to be okay, and you stay with them until they stop crying, until they wake up and realize where they're at and that they're ready to go on to the next thing. When your child's upset or tired or lonely, you comfort them and you reassure him that you're there with him, and you value him and you love him. Most parents don't know this, but every time you reassure your child, you comfort, you talk to, you play with, um, you're with your child in these ways, this in ways that meet his needs, you are wrapping your child in a layer of emotional protection. So in some ways, it's like wrapping a vase in a protective, bubble wrap or protective paper to keep it from breaking. All these things that you're doing helps protect your child. Just like a good example is a cell phone, right? If we drop the cell phone, um, it will shatter if it doesn't have a protective case, right? So most of us don't just have our phone without a protective case, and that's what this shield is for your child. It's an emotional shield. So if we compare life to being a football player, right? The football player wears protective padding and all of this um, to keep them safe. And that's what these things are doing to our children, giving them an emotional shield for everyday life. Um, so, how do we create this padding? It really isn't that difficult, and I'm going to tell you right now. Let's see. Okay, let's say your child is crying because they're tired. So you hold your child, and you reassure them, and you rock them in the way that you know, because you've become used to how your child gets put to sleep. So this helps your child, right? And you stay with them, you rock them, and this is you know how to put your child to sleep, right? So maybe you're rocking them, and then you notice their eyes start to, you know, to lean back, and then you keep rocking, and then as they fall asleep, you know. Whatever it is specific to your child, how to lay them down and slowly, gradually walk away. This type of loving response is like a protection, just one small layer of protection for your child. Now, another example is when your child looks at you and you can tell they want to play with something, right? They're motioning, they're looking at you in the eye, they're motioning to a toy, and you reassure them, yeah, yeah, get that toy. And then maybe you walk over and you start engaging with them. That means you're playing with them with the toy, and you kind of giggle. Maybe you sing a song, and again, this is another layer. And every time you have these interactions with your child, you're giving them another layer, another source of protection. Now let's think about when you go to the doctor's office and they get a shot. They have all these layers of protection, and then when they feel the pain of the shot, you again respond, you hold them, and you reassure them that you're there. And because they have these already layers of protection, when you respond, they easily calm. Um, and again, that's part of the protection. That one piece was taken off because of the shot. They received pain, but they were reassured by you and your continued response, because you've given those responses in the past, and they know that you're there. And when you respond quickly, they can feel secure, and that their needs are being met. Okay, now let's think of an instance, like maybe the first time they pull themselves up to stand, or because your child's a little bit older, maybe the first time they, run around, and they really feel accomplished because they climbed something for the first time, or they've made a little dance move that's different and unique to them. Again, when they see your response, and this time it could even be from a distance, that you say good job, and you're excited, and you high five them. This is another way of putting a layer to that protective shield. Now, unfortunately, there are ways that these shields can be peeled away or not strong, and so those are things when a child isn't responded to. So a child cries for a long period of time, and we know that sometimes they need to you're busy doing something, and they need to wait, and if you reassure them with your voice, oh, I'm coming, that can be helpful. But also, they're upset. But if it's too long, a prolonged amount of time, or you just they just aren't getting their needs met, because the people that are caring for them aren't responding, that is a way that we can lose part of this protection. So let's say maybe you're busy um, searching the internet, or on your Facebook, and your child is trying to get your attention, and you just aren't able. You're just really into something else. This is also a time when a part of that layer is taken away or fallen away, or and so we really want to be concerned with providing that protection. Okay, I have another example. Let's say you go out shopping, and you have to take your child with you, and you don't plan ahead, and it's nap time, or your child's hungry, and they cry, and they want their needs to be met, either because they're tired or they're hungry. So what do you think happens? I think you got it right. There's a part of the protective shield that it gets lost. It's fallen off. So we want to really just work on figuring out, make sure that we respond to those needs, and we have everything met. So now let's say in your home there is stress, and there's someone yelling, and there's someone else crying, and all this stress we know babies can feel from a very young age, and these things do take part of this protective shield off. So we know that these protective layers that we're putting on every day can also be taken off. And we want to make sure that we do everything we can to add to the protective shield, and keep from those stressful things from happening, and responding to a child from happening. Because we want our children to have strong protective shields when they go to school, because that's when we can't be there, and we can't be the ones to respond. But we can hope that we've given them everything. So from the time that they're born until they're 3 and 4, we keep adding. And of course, at that time, we can still keep adding, but we want to make sure that there's a lot of shield for them when they're out there in the real world without us, or even just for that short amount of time, right? when they go to school and they're used to our response to them, they have that shield, and the more that they have, the better it is for them to be resilient to the things that are going to happen to them while they're away at school. So some of the things that we know about people who have these strong protective shields, they are more resilient to um, bullying or being a bully. They are more successful in school and ready to learn. They're prepared for school success. So this is the protective shield. And this is kind of the basis of everything that we'll be talking about this year in Early Head Start Home Base. So let me know what questions you have about it, what you think about it, how you think you're providing a protective shield for your child, and we'll discuss it some more and talk about some other things. Okay, I look forward to talking to you really soon.